Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Raul Infante, here with Taking Dish Sports, here with my co-host, Alexis Diaz.
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
Hey, so today we're going to cover the hot topics of the NBA. So don't forget, guys, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them. So the first thing that I want to cover is obviously what's going on in the NBA right now. The NBA Finals right now, you have the Golden State Warriors that made their fifth straight trip to the NBA Finals, and Steph Curry leading that team all the way past the Portland Trail Blazers that were just blazing hot, passing through teams and actually sweeping them for nothing. So my question for you is two parts.
All right.
Do you think that the Golden State Warriors could win again in the NBA Finals? I want your pick, and I want your pick in how many games. That's without KD, with KD, and on top of that, one more question. Has Steph Curry being with Kevin Durant hurt his legacy besides championships? I'm talking about statistically. Go ahead.
First off, to answer the question, Steph Curry right now is a top 5, top 10 all-time player. He single-handedly changed the game. Now, to answer your question about the finals, my finals prediction, which I've been saying since like the preseason. I know I'm a big Celtics fan. Celtics could win it every year. That's what I'm hoping for. But I still have Golden State winning in 5. If Golden State is playing against with a healthy KD, if they're playing against the Bucks, I see Golden State winning 5 against the Bucks. If they're playing against Toronto, I'm sorry, I see Golden State sweeping. Now, if KD is still hurt and he's not gonna show up for the first couple games, I could see other teams taking a few W's and make it in a series, a 6 or 7 game series. But with Kevin Durant, a healthy Kevin Durant with the mindset, you seen how Draymond is playing?
Right.
Draymond is playing phenomenal. He actually lost a couple pounds. He said that he dropped like 10 or 15 pounds before the playoffs just so he could be fresh and stay active. Man, I don't see a team stopping this team. Don't forget, this team before Kevin Durant, they broke the single season record.
Absolutely.
They won the championship.
Absolutely. And going back to that Draymond Green point reminds me of Shaquille O'Neal when he was in the Lakers back in the days. He gained a lot of weight because he's like, listen, I got this talented guy over here, Kobe Bryant, that could just take over the team. Now that you got a guy like KD that went down and you know, you have injuries and obviously the more seriousness part of the season, which is the second half of the season, obviously time to lose LBs, and he did it at the right time because, you know, it shows that team has so much chemistry, and it shows that even though they got Kevin Durant the last few years, they still remember how to play with each other without KD there. So I think that this team is going to be able to pull another championship this season against whether Milwaukee or Toronto. Obviously, it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a lot better, obviously, than the Portland series, even though, you know, Portland did whatever they had to do. But I think that they'll be able to end up ultimately winning a championship. And, man, where does that put KD in this situation?
So, see, if I'm KD, you know right now KD's on his Twitter with his burner accounts tweeting away like, oh, my God, these guys are going to lose. Listen, if Golden State wins a championship without KD and KD doesn't come back, I think that hurts KD's legacy more than Steph Curry's. Why? Because it shows that even without KD, the Warriors still are making it to the championships and they're still winning championships without Kevin Durant. That's why I think Durant is walking, and I think Golden State is going to keep the big 3 in Curry, Klay, and Draymond. Why mess up the chemistry? These guys literally have a chance if they stay healthy. Because remember, Curry, Klay, and Draymond. What's the oldest person who's who? Curry? Curry's what, 30, 31? Klay and Draymond, they're still like in their mid-20s, like late 20s. Those guys could stay together and be a legacy, a dynasty, where they could probably make it probably 2 to 3 times more.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the way that Steph Curry's career is going on. Early in his career, when he was drafted with Golden State, he had a lot of injuries with his ankles. I remember there was one time where he was on the sidelines and he was holding both of his ankles in so much pain. And I'm like, man, this guy's career, he's gonna be great, but I don't think he's going to be able to last in the NBA the way that the point guards are constantly running back and forth. NBA is a sport that you constantly have to be using your lower extremities, but the way that he's been able to turn it around and win these championships is amazing. So with that being said, since we're on the Kevin Durant topic, is he staying in Golden State? Is he going to the Clippers? I know the Clippers have been talking a lot. Or is he going to be going to New York? Possibly the most dangerous spot for him to go with all that media that's going to be behind him and harassing him.
See, my problem with Kevin Durant, at one point, he was my favorite player. I had him as, he could be better than LeBron. He could be the next Jordan, you know. He's a great shooter. He's almost 7 feet tall, the way he moves, the way he could score the ball. Sensitive. You think of Kevin Durant, you think of sensitivity.
Yep.
Listen, even when him out and Golden State handling Portland, You literally seen him reacting towards commentators and analysis from the NBA, and for him to take the time and tweet back to guys just shows you that the guy still, that stuff like that still irks him. One thing I want to point out, I don't want to keep on talking about Curry, is that I give credit to Curry because he knows how to keep a team together. What guy do you you have a guy like LeBron, you have guys like Michael, you guys have like Kobe, guys like Kobe. They all have these diva personalities, these, I'm this, I'm that.
Absolutely.
Curry looks like those laid back, yeah, I'm arguably the best shooter of all time. Yeah, I got some guys that are pretty good ballers. Let's win some games. For him to have the continuity with those guys and keep it together just shows a lot about Curry's character. But going back to KD, he's going to the Knicks. He's going to chase the money. He's going to look for that biggest contract of all time. He's going to probably be making $45 million a year. He's won his 3 championships. I think right now, at KD's point, I don't really think he cares about legacy. Because if he did, I don't think he would have gone to the Warriors. I think obviously he does. Every player cares about legacy. But I think right now, KD, he wants to win his 3rd championship, wins his 3rd championship, go chase the money, and just take it easy for the rest of his career.
I could totally see the same thing as well, because at the end of the day, I feel like he went to Golden State just for the same reason that LeBron James ended up panicking and leaving Cleveland. He didn't believe in that team, so he ended up going to a better opportunity, got his championships, and eventually went back to Cleveland. I think it's going to be a similar situation with KD. He goes and chases the most money, but does that guarantee that the Knicks can offer him the most? And with that being said, if KD goes to the Knicks or he goes to the Clippers, does that pull Kyrie in a different direction? Will Kyrie, do you think Kyrie's going to end up being on the same team as KD, yes or no?
So my thing with Kyrie Irving, right, for him to choose where he wants to go, I think money is big into it because he's never signed a max contract. He's never signed like a big moneymaker. And I was looking over the numbers real quick. This guy, if he re-signs with the Celtics, could make $42 and $44 million in his last 2 years of the contract. $42 and $43 million?
A year, gents.
A year. We're talking about a year, guys. 365 days. That's a lot of money, man. Yep. And if he wants to do something where he could get the money and he has a chance to win and contend for a title, why wouldn't he re-sign with Boston? But you've seen what Paul George did going to OKC. I know you want to talk about that. You've seen what Paul George did with OKC. So to be honest with you, and another thing too, Kyrie Irving is weird. Let's admit, Kyrie Irving is weird. Right. You don't know which Kyrie you're going to get in his interviews. So I'm just like, all right, Kyrie, you're this new millennial. I'm in my feelings and all that. Just sign the contract, baby. Just sign the contract, boy. Right.
He doesn't know the difference of a basketball and a frisbee. He don't know which one is flat and which one's round. But listen, what I wanted to talk about, how you brought up Paul George, was one thing. There's a lot of hype going around about you're talking about Anthony Davis's contract and then Kawhi Leonard's contract, right? Mm-hmm. The NBA would not be having the same conversations if Paul George doesn't go and sign the extension with OKC. They took the gamble, even though he said he was signing with the Lakers no matter what after that 1 year. What happens? Ends up loving OKC and ends up re-signing there for a longer contract. And now everybody's kind of forgotten that there's a possibility that could have ended up a different way. So then now teams have the feeling like, if you sign Anthony Davis for 1 year, you have the potential of having him long term. Same thing with Kawhi. I would say if you're the Boston Celtics, just go back to reality, take your time, and actually see what Kawhi does. Because if Kawhi goes and does something that'll explode the minds of the NBA fans, which is, let's say, go to the Lakers and play with LeBron, or go to the Clippers, which would be his ideal choice. Exactly. It would bring you back to earth that, hey, at the end of the day, if these players say that they're going to play 1 year, that is a very, very high risk in taking a player.
So, quick question for you. So, I was looking over the list of big free agents. There's a lot of all-stars that are free agents this year. Do you think, there's going to be a team in the market, right? A low-market team that's going to have money. It's going to have money. Probably sign 2 guys to a max and 1 guy close to a max. Could you see, 3 guys just teaming up and going to a random team, try to bring a championship, all getting paid? I personally thought that back in the day, a couple years ago, I would think that. But after the whole debacle with the Lakers and New Orleans and then the trade leaks and all that, I think it's going to be one of those things where guys are going to sign to where they were linked all throughout their careers. I could see Kawhi's going to go back to LA. I don't think he's going to go and be the guy next to LeBron because LeBron's about to be turning 34. I see LeBron's career another 5-6 years and he's done. Kawhi could easily go to the Clippers. You know who else is tied in the Clippers? A guy named Klay Thompson. You know who else is in the Clippers? A guy named Lou Williams, arguably the best guy coming off the bench for you.
Tobias Harris is also a free agent as well. That would be a great opportunity there. Listen, you brought up one person right there LeBron James that you say has 4 or 5 years. We all know what's going on with Magic Johnson, how he walked out and how ugly it's looking for that organization.
It's dumpster fire right now.
LeBron James had a few words to say. Obviously, he was upset how the situation happened, and Magic Johnson was extremely upset about it, talking about, hey, I should have handled it a different way because it could push away players from wanting to come to that market. LeBron James was the king. Okay, LeBron, no pun intended, but LeBron James was the man in Cleveland. He could have stayed in Cleveland and gotten players there left and right. He took less money instead of the max contract from Cleveland to go to LA to better his career outside of the NBA and blah, 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 blah. And look where it's ended up. In a roller coaster that he can't control. Can't get a GM. Can't get a head coach. Can't get players to go to LA. Now people are turning their backs on him because they want to make their own legacy. Right now, it's not looking too well for instead of taking the max contract, it's the same thing. It brings me back to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, you got it pretty well. It didn't work out this year in Boston. If you put your ego to the side and stop playing for stats, and start playing like you did before the knee injury, that team could go really well. And I have one example after our break that I'm going to discuss of a chance that the Celtics have in order to get that team to the Eastern Conference Finals win and potentially be an NBA champion at the 1920 season.
Hey, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hey, if you want to debate us with anything, that's why the comment section is there for.
Hey, and don't forget to hit that bell button for more notifications. So with that being said, we're going to continue on with the NBA hot topics. And the biggest topic is AD, the biggest trade chip that you could have in this free agency. Not only free agent, but don't forget all the other teams that are going to be hunting for him. Exactly. So specifically, I want to talk about Kyrie Irving. We ended up talking about LeBron James's contract, right? And how he didn't take the max contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now he's miserable in the Los Angeles Lakers of what I could see, what I saw his body language in the NBA season last year, and then everything that's going on in the offseason. So with that being said, I just want to say, Kyrie Irving, I would think twice before you forget about the max contract and sign to another team. Because if you sign with the max contract, you have a potential of having AD on that team. The way that the Boston Celtics could do that is by sending the 14th pick, the 20th, the 22nd pick, Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart, unfortunately, to the Pelicans, because you would need to clear the cap space in order to be able to have AD, so you would have to throw Marcus Smart into that trade package. Imagine having Kyrie Irving and AD on the same team. You would able to have a starting lineup consisting of Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Morris, Al Horford, and Anthony Davis. How nasty would that be right there?
That screams to me defense.
Screams to me defense. That screams to me championships right there. That gives you the best chance of getting championships, because everybody knows that you need that star power nowadays in the NBA in order to win championships. With that being said, if the Celtics don't get Kyrie Irving at a max contract, Alexis, can you discuss a few of the options that the Celtics could have in order to improve that team?
So one option that's been leaking out, and a lot of players and a lot of people, not players, analysis and people, fans from Boston are saying, Mike Conley, right? Mike Conley, to me, is one of the purest point guards in the NBA, plays great defense. He's a leader, right? And that's exactly what the young guys in Boston need, a point guard that wants to pass first before getting his buckets, right? Who we're going to trade in order to get him? Gordon Hayward, man. Gordon Hayward. Why? The money matches up. Gordon Hayward and Mike Conley literally have identical contracts. And Mike Conley is the older one from them two, but they're only like 1 or 2 years apart.
Right.
What I like about that trade, though, is that the fact that we dump Gordon Hayward's contract, we get Mike Conley, right? But Mike Conley's contract is up, I want to say, like another 2 years, whereas Gordon Hayward's contract is done in another 4 with a player option. So
you can even have Mike Conley and also AD with the trade package that we put there. And just like he said, Gordon Hayward and Conley have literally the mirror image contracts, one making 32, or actually both of them making 32 million next year, and then the following year making 34 million. So you could still get AD that way, you know?
And remember that Al Horford is willing to opt in and reconstruct his contract, freeing up, giving literally the C's, I think, an extra 12 million. So they will literally already have $20 million of cap space if Al Horford reconstructs his contract. And that's without signing Kyrie with the max. But even if Kyrie, right, chooses not to sign the max, he could get close to the max, still get an extra 35 to 40 million compared to any other team, and give the Celtics more money to sign in another big free agent.
Right.
Another trade package, well, not even a trade package. One idea that I was talking to some of my colleagues at work, and they thought I was crazy. Man, I still have hope for Jimmy Butler, man. I like Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
I'm a big Butler fan. You know, I feel like he's one of those guys that playoffs come, he becomes an all-star, and he becomes easily a top 5, top 10 player for his team during the playoffs. The only way that would work, though, is that he will have to take a pay cut. He already said he wants a max contract. But if we have an opportunity, right, to have Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, and Anthony Davis, with nobody there taking the max close to the max, you're talking about another dynasty like Golden State. You're literally talking about 4, 5, even 5. All those 5 guards eventually, Jaylen Brown's going to be an all-star eventually. You're talking about 5 guys that have been all-stars in your team. And they're all under 30 besides Al Horford.
Right.
Hey, guys, I know now money talks. Money's a big thing. And, you know, everybody wants to go hang out with their friends and play with their friends. Man, let's start focusing on legacy. Put that Celtics green on your back. Get your paper back, you know, your dead presidents, and win. Not win one. I think what Boston wants to do is that they want to build a team that's going to win more than one championship. Yeah, we could go all in for one season, but we want championships. Championships.
Right. And how about your idea with Gordon Hayward going to Indiana? I thought that one was interesting as well.
Sorry. So I was just I was reading an article about how right now the Pacers, they don't know how to play Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis, and they're in the playoffs. So they're looking to move either or. Makes more sense to Sabonis to go because Miles Turner, he's already proven that he could lead the league in blocks. Right. He's already proven that he could be a great defensive player. So one thing I could see is that Gordon Hayward going to Indy, right? Memphis still sending us Mike Conley, and Indiana, the Pacers, sending either Sabonis with a few picks out to Memphis, or us giving just a pick to Memphis and Memphis getting a big guy in Sabonis. Because remember, Memphis, they have a few picks, they have a few young guys. With them trading away Mike Conley, remember last season before the trade deadline, they got rid of Marc Gasol to go to Toronto. I could see them going young, and hey, Gordon Hayward, Indiana. He's from Indiana. There's a win-win situation in Indiana. They have a big 3 between Miles Turner, Gordon Hayward, and Victor Oladipo. Memphis goes younger. They have some more picks for the future, and the Celtics get their replacement point guard in Mike Conley. The money matches up too. So let's see. It's going to be a interesting offseason this summer.
I know, absolutely. And just like you said, with all the all-stars that are around, man, this is just beginning. This is only the beginning of the NBA offseason. And don't forget that none of this actually begins to actually form until July 1st. So right now, all these rumors is just shits and giggles for us to discuss right now. But once July 1st comes, it's time for players to make money. It's time for teams to sign moving players. It's always the funnest time of the year in the sense of the NBA. Obviously, besides the playoffs and the NBA Finals, man, this one's gonna be a great one, like you said, because there's so many moving parts that could happen. What's gonna happen with LA? What's gonna happen in New York? What's gonna happen in Boston? How is Toronto gonna bounce back? All these teams, a lot of the teams that have been in the playoffs the last few years, they could be major changes all over the place.
It's going to be an interesting offseason.
Exactly. So the 19-20 season of the NBA is going to be one of the most interesting, in my opinion, in the last few years.
Now, I got a question for you. Which free agent out there that you know that we haven't talked about, or like they're low on the radar, that you wouldn't mind if the Celtics sign him if we can't get Kyrie? I got a few in my head.
Honestly, I would have to look at the salary cap space, because the Celtics, even though they could give Kyrie Irving that contract, they don't necessarily have a lot of money to give to a lot of players. So the options that were really put out there that I've looked into don't really intrigue me. So I won't really give that opinion in that sense. It would have to be if you let's say somehow a team is stupid enough to take Gordon Hayward with the performance that he's done. So honestly, I really don't know right now.
See, so my thing is if the Celtics let Kyrie walk, well, if Kyrie walks, right? I really like the fact that Horford is willing to take a pay cut, and we could get some veterans that will help us to stay relevant in the playoffs. My thing, though, like I've always said, you need 2 stars to win a championship. Right. If you look at a team like Milwaukee, Giannis is this year. He showed up. He's the MVP. He played phenomenal. He's been the best player all season. Right. You see Toronto. If you see the guys that Toronto have, they got Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka. They got Kyle Lowry. They got Danny Green and Kawhi. Both guys that are a product from San Antonio. And man, I love the San Antonio players, man. Anybody from San Antonio, you know you're going to get a champion just because Greg Pop is a genius. Right. But I feel like it'll be something where even if the Celtics don't do anything crazy during the offseason, before the trade deadline in February of next year, some crazy fireworks are going to happen all over the league.
I agree. Hey, so with that, you guys heard what he just said. Carmelo Anthony's going to go to the San Antonio Spurs, and his season is going to be turned around. Hopefully, he gets his first championship. So listen, with that being said, that wraps it up, guys. Don't forget, guys, we're not only the guys that watch these sports, but we analyze them. We're your host, Raul Infante, and your co-host, Alexis Diaz.
Take it easy, guys. Hey, good luck, Bruins. Boston, City of Champions. Hey.